Against a Magnus, if you go Exort, you can just bully him out with that extra damage coming through. Like, yeah, I mean, it gives you some extra kill potential as well, I suppose, for the side lanes, right? You can just get a Avatos combo off. You can get a full duration route with the Fortune's End. So there's potential that it's going to be an Exort.
They do have a nice setup in the side lanes here. We'll see. I guess the only issue with going Exort is how kind of passive you end up playing. You know, usually we see this Exort build going Midas, playing the jungle. Midas has kind of been more of an item for the Invoker if he needs to kind of scale into that late game if they can't really snowball and really take over the mid game fights. As we see Fearless even the level 25 Invoker, so we're going to see how he's going to be able to play this one. He has got the cross up. But it looks like, once again, just the classic 2-2 trade here with the Bounty Runes to start. No shenanigans at the moment with trying... actually, Q is actually already down bot. So it looks like they are going to attempt to try and find the first blood with that Metamorphosis and really pressure out the Viper early.
I think that's totally fine. I'm also just thinking about, like, for damage purposes, again, you don't want to put too much just onto the one hero. And with going Quaswex, you kind of are doing that, as opposed to Exort, where, you know, Ravage Cataclysm is very much in the equation. But Carl, very nice block coming through. He's already making sure to pull this underneath his tower. Yes, he's going to get farm, but level's just as important.
Down bot though, Cuckoo could be in trouble here. Brute sets up for the toss back, straight on top of Savage. Cuckoo is falling incredibly low, and it looks like he's going to be the first blood here this game, as Savage will find it incredibly done. You already see Zephyr kind of setting up to try and get that drag, but he's also going to eat a relatively decent amount of damage here as well with the root and also the toss back onto the full creep wave. So Zephyr could be in trouble without having the roll on the last right click from Boombell. So once again, the start to the lanes here from Motivate, very nicely done from them.
Another reason why I was thinking, you know, potentially this is going to be an Exort build for Fearless is that you just have a look at the attack damage when you compare a Magnus
Top lane,
with
Whitemon, a toss back from Q. He was chasing Nevermind. Yeah, I mean, Nevermind was just trying to drag the wave, but Q just tosses him under the tower. You got the Gush. I mean, that level 1 potential, 110 damage, full armor reduction with a 40% slow. Like, it's such a nice value point for this Tidehunter, which we've kind of seen a lot more frequently with the passive now, the damage block. But he could be in trouble though with the level 2, at least from Jackie. He's got the spin him down, and also Whitemon setting up thanks to the stun. So it's going to end up being the demise here for Nevermind. T1 going to be able to pick up their first kill of the game.
At least it's the Grim that gets it, not the Juggernaut. You know, that's always the worry. He's the win condition very clearly for the team, but you know, like I was saying before, you've got 92 damage on this Magnus compared with the 66 on Fearless, and that's very evident in what we can see here from the denies coming through.
Yeah, we'll see how... And once you get that extra, every level in the Empower, it's just going to get more and more difficult for Fearless. Usually the kind of the Quaswex Invoker, we see some of the stats come through that Blade of Attack, the extra Null, just kind of really offsetting the damage you're missing from the Exort. But this is going to be a matchup where he's going to struggle pretty heavily. And once again, we already see kind of this rush with the Urn pickup.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Why not? You know, you know that they're going to play this aggressive style on Motivate, so just build for it and hope you win a few team fights, and then suddenly you've got so much extra damage to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, and now this lane feels like what's happening at the moment is Savage is just getting chased down, and he won't even be able to make it back towards the tower though. Oracle is going to be able to purge off, but it's not going to matter as Zephyr rolls on forward. Cuckoo's going to be able to claim the kill, and now they can push the wave in if they want to dive Boombell potentially, although Cuckoo's got the Mango to be able to get a little bit of mana, but it looks like instead they want to just kind of offset the creepy Equilibrium. Oh, in trouble actually. Yeah, pops the Fairy Fire as Fearless with the attack speed increase thanks to the Wex. We'll be able to get that last little right click in. So Fearless actually finds a solo kill in the mid lane. Really nicely done from the Invoker.
Yeah, things could have been going even better. I think Savage just slightly misplayed there, stepping back into the rolling boulder as it was coming through. So might have been able to survive, but you know, at the end of the day, you've got a full HP reset, so that's always nice to have.
Boombell might have overstepped the mark as well. Yeah, you see just the slows. It's so hard to be able to dodge through. And I mean, even though you can kind of get rid of the poison attack stacks, you've still slowed down so much, and Viper's on top you to kind of restack them up. As we are going to see that 4-minute mark, so the rotations coming through from the support to try and secure some of the power runes. Luckily enough, though, Carl's going to be able to with the bottom one. They don't actually have the bottles just yet, so not really doing too much there.
Oh, he's in trouble though. Oh, just gets out.
Yes, this will do just fine.
And never mind, he might have to TP out top as well. Yes, Whitemon unable to charge up the Inkswell fast enough, so he's going to be alright. But Seatbot Savage pops the Metamorphosis. Unfortunately, just the Oracle route wasn't really enough to control them, and Tiny wasn't there fast enough. A nice scan though, so they are well aware that Q wanting to rotate down whenever the Metamorphosis is available.
Yeah. And they know that they're trying to... well, they would assume that it's going to get some sort of wards going on there, but it's just blocking the camps, actually, with the Sentry and the Observer, respectively.
Did he place that Obs on the higher ground? Yeah, it is, okay. For a second, I thought he placed it just below this heads. I'm like, oh, awkward vision, but well forward. Savage. I mean, Q just kind of walked away from the Terrorblades. You see instantly T1 wanting to get aggressive. I mean, they won't be able to kind of get towards the bounties as Carl is bounty up on the high ground as well. But he's gone double brace. So
to stop that from happening. So clearly knowing how each other play, they're seen, they're good friends, a lot of them. So yeah, interesting to see how these mini plays shape up.
And they're kind of aware of where Nevermind actually is farming at the moment. You saw the pings come through and how he's in trouble. It's going to be the target of the RP, even with the skewer underneath the tier 2. A lot of pressure. They've got an aggressive ward as well to kind of enable the Jug from continuing to put pressure on the T1. But they're not going to allow him. As Carl will find that kill, drops the RP. And
what we got here? So Fearless is opting to go for the Orchid build.
They've got an aggressive ward as well.
Perfectly understandable. You know, it's one of those things that prevents someone from being able to escape. It means that unless Jackie's perfect, like this rotation has been,
he's in trouble. He tried to TP in and instantly tried to D-ward, but Jackie, I mean, he popped with the TP rotations. Is he in trouble? Q's got the toss back. Nicely done from the Tiny. Straight to the Invoker. Zephyr tries to give him some protection with that silence, but unfortunately there is just no hope for the Juggernaut. He is going to end up falling. That is a 1-for-1, but that's a big kill, like you brought up the Winky. Condition for T1 is the Juggernaut.
well, we'll see how much that's going to impact them later on. You know, yes, it was a little bit of a net worth charts ahead of his mag. Actually, Hunter, he was just bullied out of lane entirely. You're much more vulnerable to being ganked.
How do you feel this laning stage or early game is kind of going for Motivate at the moment? Do you still feel like they're pretty reliant on the, I guess, Q and Fearless making the plays? Because it feels like they're pretty cooldown reliant on the Terrorblade and Fired.
Yeah, I mean, the laning stage has gone okay, but the big thing for me is the Magnus. Generally, if you're picking a Magnus mid, you're wanting him to be the top of the net worth, just because of all of his self-improving farming capabilities. Against a ranged hero like an Invoker who's able to put a lot of harass in onto you, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tougher. A few times people opt to deward that because it's right next to the outpost. It's not super value.
Mid lane though, Cole's in trouble. Doesn't have the skewer available, unfortunately. The team's coming over, but he can't even drop the RP as well. Savage pops the meta. Now it's just going to force back tier 1. And now with this Metamorphosis popped and everyone here Radiant, they're going to try and look to fight. They've got the Ravage timing as well. And it's... Do tier 1 have the damage to go through at the moment? Cuckoo's going to try and TP in. Only 1 point in the Nether Toxin, but he drags off the creeps. It looks like regardless, Radiant, they don't really care though.
Yeah, if you're popping the meta, you're always going to commit to this sort of thing, and now they're going to start invading. Take away, well, no stacks on the right side, I don't believe, but quick smart, they're going to need to make a rotation through to their own jungle on T1 and make sure they deal with this before TB and Tidehunter are aware.
And they're actually smoking up. They believe they saw Fearless here, so he could be in trouble. See if he's going to end up showing that move up on the high ground. And yeah, he's in trouble. Cuckoo Atos sets up for the roll. You got the combo with the follow-up on the Ink Swallow as well, so very nicely done from T1. That's a big kill on Fearless, who had a bit of a spree. That's 366 gold going towards Cuckoo. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing T1 if they want to try and... I mean, you still got the mag and the Jug who wants to continue farming with this Empower, but you know the Metamorphosis is on cooldown, so it is a lot of the damage from Motivate at the moment.
Yeah. I mean... To be fair as well, what items have they got coming out to the Magnus? Is it going the Echo Saber? Looks like it. Yeah.
Therefore?
So,
I'll hurry my foe to his spiky end.
Yeah, it does look like the Echo's coming out now for the mag, so we already see...
He's just continuing on farming, and if there's a fight that suits him, it's so weird seeing this style of thing, right? Normally, you're like, well, the Pacemaker is going to be the mid laner, but Carl, he's going a super greedy defensive build where he's just going to sit back and farm, and Jackie's doing the exact same thing. Their farming patterns, they're intertwining a little bit so that they can get the empowers off, and it's putting a lot of emphasis onto the support duo in particular from T1, but they're doing a great job. You know, the fact that it's still 7-7 right now means that they have been putting in a body of work.
Yeah, Q could be in trouble down bot though. It looks like the Omni Slash just going to get dropped from Jackie. They saw this Tiny going an extra wave and they're wanting to look to punish that, as we haven't really seen the Tiny. I mean, last game he had an incredible performance throughout the laning phase and the early game. Unfortunately, you know, this Blink looking like it's going to be a little bit later than what he was hoping, and especially if T1 keep hunting him out like that.
It's just more efficiency across the board, really. Like, this Invoker, it's the struggle to getting to that first big item in that Orchid, and then is when they're going to start making a move on Motivate. But is it just going to be a matter of too little too late?
Cuckoo down bot. He is duking around the tree line here, and looks like he's actually going to be fine. Do they want to drop it though? Q's still kind of thinking he might be here. It looks like he actually might run into him. Cuckoo's going to try and turn and find Fearless. With the Avalanche Toss combination, it looks like Cuckoo's going to pay the price, and Fearless, he can just hide himself up in the invis, although Cuckoo's still turning on Q, who's taking a lot of damage, even has to commit the false promise to make sure he doesn't die there through the poison attack. But meanwhile, it does kind of free up mid, where we see Dai thinking about trying to walk up and maybe put a little bit of pressure on the tower, but instantly the Tide TP's in, and being this guardian that the tanky boy can be.
On which to hoist them.
I'm liking how they're going to be synergizing their item timings, though. It's only about 700 gold away from the Blink Dagger. Not often you see that as the first big item for a Tidehunter anymore. You know, you often see the Greaves or Vlads or something along those lines, but he's going to be getting it around the same time as this Orchid. Orchid's just coming out for the Invoker now, so we'll see what they opt to do. Whether it's, you know, prioritize a bit more farm towards Nevermind, while the Orchid on the Invoker, they just try and scout out and get kills on his own with the Oracle and the Tiny. What are they going to do? What's the big call coming through there? That's what's going to decide this next 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, we're about to have the bounties come up as well, so we'll see if there's any rotation through them. It looks like Dai trying to sweep through that bottom side, just make sure Radiant aren't thinking about contesting it, as Radiant just going to control up this top side of the map. Looks like it just will be the 2-2 a piece with the bounties, but it's just another kind of farm fest at the moment. I mean, we've got 16 kills, 15 in, but with the mag lineup, you're kind of expecting not as much aggression as some other games. It's
C-Dot though, you know, you're always going to get aggression coming through, and that is very close to the Blink Dagger as well on Cube. So a couple of Blink Daggers coming at exactly the same point in time is going to be a big power spike for Motivate. So it's just about defending this mid tier 1 tower, you would think. as the priority for them. But Siege Creep's already here, so maybe T1 will opt to fight around that, and the smoke starts to come through. Jackie, Zephyr, Cuckoo, they're all coming.
Q, he's in trouble here. He's got Boombell on the back line. The False Promise is available if they want to chuck it out. Tide just picked up the blink as well to counter initiate. Never mind. Needs to try and find the angle, but it's a little bit hard. Jackie protected with the magic immunity. So they'll clean off the Tiny, but on top of the back line, K with the blink forward finds the RP. It's on top of the Tide Hunter as well, so we can't counter initiate. Boombell protects up Fearless, but they've got the vision to be able to chase him down. And they're all in trouble at this bottom side as Fearless actually gets a decent amount of health back here. And Jackie actually wants to turn his attention, try and Boombell as he disengaged away from the Invoker. Now Savage is showing up with the Metamorphosis as well, along with this Alacrity, so they could be in trouble. Try and play around with the Ironwood tree, but man, T1 very nicely done for them. They get 3. The Ravage from Carl on top of the back, finding 2, but quick fingers from the Oracle does keep the Invoker alive.
Quick fingers, and he also had the reason he lived is he had a
Toss
health
back.
pump.
Q is going to be able to find Cuckoo, where Savage is set up with the Metamorphosis, so get a little bit of revenge. Looks like T1 weren't able to retreat fast enough there.
Yeah, he had the health potion on the Oracle, that's why he was able to live throughout the False Promise. Always good to keep a couple there, and you can see he's just purchased up another one for the next team fight.
But Cuckoo's understanding, he already had a courier there in Roche waiting for Radiant to walk in, and I mean, Viper's down for another 10 seconds. Whitemon can definitely scout out, and it looks without the Metamorphosis. They still want to stay though. They don't have any life still at the moment. Savage can sunder out, but this could be a difficult fight for them to take.
Yeah, I think the incentive for that is that you just saw the Omni Slash use, you saw the RP use, so it's like, well, what are we really scared of? But meta being down is just big of a deal.
So T1, they've mid lane, yeah. Carl, he's in trouble. He's got the team coming over. Is he tanky enough to be able to stay alive for long? However, looks like that Orchid is going to end up ticking him down. So nicely done, Motivate. They get another little cheeky pick off here. The blink from Q, kind of allowing them to find a couple of cores that have been farming just a little bit too aggressive mid.
I was thinking maybe that would be the trigger for them to go Roche even without the Metamorphosis, you know, knowing that there's not going to be a Magnus for the next 40 seconds, but still opting to farm might be the death of him though. We can see the support duo starting to rotate up here, and Zephyr, he has been really effective so far this game in getting the silences onto the backlines, but no backline to speak of.
There we go with the roll 4 paired up with that silence and stun combo thanks to the Grimstroke. Nothing you can do there, unfortunately, for the Terrorblade. Just really nice support rotation. It looks like Fearless is looking to try and punish with the wrap coming through from Q, but again, this Warden Sentry giving them a lot of information at the moment from T1, and they might actually look to bait with the TP rotation. Carl's in.
They've got the RP as well.
Q, let's see if they group up. They're going to be careful. Whitemon straight onto the back line with the silence. They do find the Earth Spirit kill, but now it looks like the Evoker's in trouble. Carl's going to drop the RP. Q will scurry off to the northern tree line, but they got the core and the Invoker, which is exactly what they wanted.
What's the next priority here? Man, Cuckoo's just farming up a storm. He's like, man, guys, I'm tired of dying. You know, I just want to sit back, I want to get my items, and well, he's got the Atos now, so that's going to be really deadly for this Terrorblade that wants to be, you know, zipping in and out of these team fights.
Oh. He's going to be able to blink forward. Savage has got this meta now, and it looks like Carl could be in trouble. Gets a little bit of distance with that skewer, but the root holds them both in. Now Jackie coming around as well with the Omni Slash. Going to get tanked up a little bit thanks to Terrorblade Illusion. Looks like Boombell falls, but now with the counter initiation, never mind. Finds a Ravage on top of 4. Straight on top of the Terrorblade as well, so he's going to be able to siege him down with the Metamorphosis here. Jackie runs into the Sunstrike, but the damage is enough. He's only got 2 points up in that Sunstrike. And now Cuckoo sundered up. Roll 4 from Zephyr, but it looks like Cuckoo's in trouble. And now Radiant, they're just going to brute force him down, and nice attempt with the blink to kind of body block up that roll, but unfortunately they won't be successful at doing so. They will be able to get both outposts, it looks like. So a nice fight here from Motivate with that Metamorphosis with the Ravage, and now they're going to walk into Roche.
Fantastic team fight. Never mind making the perfect blink hit to get the Ravage off. Yes, the Mantle was able to be used onto the Juggernaut, but he goes down, but it's just perfect combination of everything. Even the Sunstrike hit onto the Spinning Jug. Another
one, Whitemon got the Glimmer. Q is just jumping left, right, and center here, really trying to pick anyone off who's pushed up a little bit too far. And we're seeing this just the Roche is getting punished here as Motivate Yeah, they're going to be able to take it. It's taken a while, though. Savage has fallen pretty low. And Diet, they got a couple of heroes up and available to try and contest this here. But Tiny, nice positioning. Savage, oh, he loses the Aegis instantly. And Q as well forced the skewer. Radiant, they don't have the numbers at the moment. Savage just tries to attempt the TP out. Do they have a cancel? They don't. A little bit too late there from Zephyr, but it looks like still they'll get at least the kill on Nevermind. So, I mean, that Roche wasn't worth it in the end. You lose the Aegis, you lose a lot of extra heroes as well, and doesn't look like so for Motivate.
Man, it was a lot to commit onto that. You know, I feel like they got a little distracted by Zephyr just zipping through, grabbing the bounty runes. It meant that they didn't have the extra damage coming through from the Invoker. Yes, he's Quas Wex, but it's still a healthy amount of damage now that he's got that Orchid, and the Tiny as well, just sitting outside. Meant that it was just a little slow. Even 5 seconds is a big difference there in terms of everyone dying and, you know, even having the Aegis or not.
What lane? They are setting up on Savage. Cuckoo was chilling in the trees, and with the rotations coming through from thanks to that tier 1 tower control, so unfortunately his Spidey senses tingling. Savage is actually going to try and hold the high ground as they've got Ravage up soon, paired up with that Metamorphosis as well.
What's the strat here? Are they going to try and walk past the secret shop first? Savage, he's got enough money to buy up that Skadi, but you don't want to really be taking a fight before that happens.
Can they try and burst down Cuckoo? Have it tossed a little bit off the mark. They still got the follow-up there with the Ravage. Now the Sunstrike as well doesn't find the connection. Cuckoo's going to fall. Zephyr doesn't get the roll away. He's still protected with the Glimmer Cape, and now with the Tornado from the backline, Fearless gets the angle to control up too, and now with the BKB pot from Carl, he's trying to find the opening of the RP. They're going to come back forward now with Jack in the buyback, skewers in. They're going to be careful because that Shockwave drag back protects him. He's got the false promise though, but it looks like Terrorblade's still in trouble, gets the Sunder out, but trying to turn on Jackie, who's going to end up falling, and now Carl's in trouble as well. Terrorblade's still going to pop after the false promise. Carl's trying to turn on top of Fearless, who's running very low on mana and that health as well. T1, can they continue forward? Carl got the blink, that Echo Saber to be able to find another. Could be in trouble with Q, but it looks like a quick silence going to be able to protect him against this avalanche toss, and Cuckoo's just cleaning up along with the rest of T1 as they take an incredible fight down bot. Tiny falls in the river. The double for Cuckoo, and that's a full team wipe as well.
It's just that little teasing distance there, making sure that people are wanting to stick around to try and get that last kill before they go down, but you know, perfect coordination coming through from T1. Yes, they lost the Juggernaut, but I don't know, just their positioning was fantastic. And again, I was saying, you don't want to take the team fight before he has the Skadi. He didn't have it, all of that team fight, just because you were forced to fight to the right of the secret shop. So perhaps it might have been the difference. You know, maybe TB would have lived with that extra stats coming through from that. I don't think Oracle got the health pot off either, just not in range to do so.
Yeah, it's a bit of a costly fight there for Motivators. T1, they're just going to be able to increase this net worth lead, and 6,000 for them, and we're just continuing to see it skyrocket as well, just thanks to this mag combo as well. I mean, unfortunately, the rest of cores from Motivate, you do see Fearless, he's picked up the Midas, so really trying to keep up and scale into the late game, but they are severely lacking the farmers. Terrorblade's a hero who can eat up a lot of the map here.
What's Juggernaut side and build? So he's already gone into the MKB, already has it finished up.
It's not in my nature.
And yeah, I can see why. Like they haven't really made too many aggressive moves right now on Motivate's side, and they don't exactly have the lineup to do so. So why not just play this style with the mag, with the Juggernaut, where you can sit back, get your items, and then when he does decide to fight, even though he's going to be a complete beast, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, Jackie really starting to dish out the damage. We saw that last fight, but the Omni Slash was an immense amount there. I mean, this game kind of stalled out a little bit. Looks like both teams really trying to find that next kind of set of items here. There's a decent chunk of the gold in the bank right now for Mag, as Carl's going to be going for the Silver's Edge. Is there... what's a big timing key from Radiant? Because they do have their ultis available, the Ravage and the Metamorphosis. Do you anticipate them trying to make a play, or are they just going to stall this one out a bit?
I mean, what are they really lacking right now? I mean, you've got the Blink Dagger now on the Oracle, which is nice. You know, you can stand well out of fights, make sure you're not being locked down by Zephyr, which I feel like has happened a couple of times. And you've also got the Yule Scepter, so able to place himself a little bit more aggressively here on Q. So I think maybe that's the timing that they're looking for, but at the end of the day, they're still kind of lacking. I think there's the Vlad's completed on Nevermind as well. So I think they're going to be pretty happy to move forward right now. But at the same time, BKB completed on Zephyr. You've got Cuckoo, who's now got his boots of travel, so he's able to roam around so much more. And yeah, I mean, there's not really too much the enemy team can do about it. Is that a Silver Edge as well, just being completed as well?
I believe it is, yeah. So it's a lot of items getting picked up from either team. A little bit more kind of utility we see from the Radiant lineup, but the Yours, the Blink, the Vlads, Die, they get some of the big items here with the BKB and that Silver's Edge. And we see, unfortunately, that smoke up mid, Jackie wasn't able to find anyone, but they are really looking to pressure. Unfortunately, they don't really have any deep vision at the moment. Grim does have one observe ward, so we'll see where they want to try and place this, if it's going to be around the triangle to control up this area.
Silver Edge complete, immediately pops it, and I think they might have spotted him out. Yeah, they did, with the Forge Spirit just walking past. So nicely done there by Fearless to make sure that that's not going to be in the equation. And the picks coming out as well, so they know he might be a little bit separated from the rest of his team. Making a bit of a move that way as well is Nevermind.
Yeah, this coming out, they do have a ward kind of not on that high ground spot. A lot more difficult to find the D ward there. Hiding in the trees, but it didn't really provide the vision of the mag unless you went forward through the river. But you see the Terrorblade, just the nuisance that he is with shoving out these lanes. Jackie has to TP back, so now it's going to end up showing. And we'll see if Radiant want to try and do something. They've got the MKB picked up on the Terrorblade.
Not something that you see all the time, but he's opted to go for the Blade Fury movement speed on the Juggernaut, just to...
Top lane, Fearless. Gets the set up on top of the Earth Spirit, burns out all the mana as well and Die. They don't have the numbers to protect Zephyr, tries to pop the BKB into that roll. He's going to be able to stay alive, but it looks like, unfortunately, White One don't have the same fate there. But they do get, I mean, a kill, and then also that's a 10-second BKB charge from your Earth Spirit. Yes, they smoke up for it, and they don't pop meta, though.
Nope. He's still safe for it. But yeah, not oftentimes you see the Blade Fury movement speed. I suppose that might be due to the thing I was mentioning before with the whole no man's land that you can get stuck in against a Terrorblade. You want to be able to close the gap or just straight up get out. The big thing is you just need to make a decision either way. You can't be caught in two minds about it.
He's going Radiance. He queued it up.
Oh, no, that's Nullify.
Oh, it's not even late. See, I could blame it if it was like a couple of extra hours in. I'm like, hang on, wait, he's not going Radiance, right? Am I seeing things?
Magic damage Jug. It's the way.
Like, hang on a second, what's going on here?
But in addition to that movement speed as well, the 8 armor from the level 20 talent is going to be super effective against this TB. You know, it's the extra couple of seconds that you need to live, and that'll be the difference between getting the Swift Slash off or not.
See, Die, looks like they're grouping up together at the moment. If they want to try and smoke up, and they will. They'll put Carl on the front line. Radiant, they've got a nice observe ward by the mid lane here. So we'll see if Q's going to be able to pop the smoke with that vision advantage. Die, they want to try and get this high ground control. Wrapping over. Drop their own ward as well. It is underneath a couple of sentries. Yeah, Carl with the blink forward, unfortunately. Doesn't want to dive too far. Boombell's posturing pretty aggressively down on top of the lane. Jackie dishes out the Swift Slash. They found Boombell. They're going to be careful. Cuckoo's actually stuck on the high ground as well, but it looks like Oracle's in trouble. Gets forced up down. Nevermind's going to be able to counter initiate with the Cataclysm. Look at the damage! The combo isn't enough to be able to continue forward through the rest of the fight. Though, as Jackie flanks too. Now the RP roll. The Terrorblade's in trouble. Savage might end up falling. They get the Grimstroke combo as well on top of the back. So controlling the Invoker and just continuously dishing out the damage as T1. They went against this Ravage Cataclysm, but it just was not enough. It's a 4-for-3 trade, and they've got the Mag and the Juggernaut as well, so they can push pretty fast here.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And Kyle again doing a lot of work for T1, and I mean, Jackie, it just shows the impact of that Swift Slash, being able to get that first initiation in onto the Tiny, force him to back off, and you know, by that point, you just go on the rest of the team, right? You don't have that burst of initiation coming through.
What a incredible attempt, though, man. That the Cataclysm with the Ravage was almost enough for them to turn it, but unfortunately, it just wasn't the reveal that could take that fight. And now you see T1, they've got a 7,000 net worth fleet and starting to get set up. Bruce going to be up in a minute here. Looks like Q should be able to at least guarantee that Motivate get one outpost as well.
pretty value. I mean,
Bounty.
getting Oracle to level 15 is pretty important, that extra cast
Carl?
range.
He really wants this bounty. Let's see if he can secure away and not have to commit the BKB. And he'll be alright. What is... I got a cheeky haste, alright. See what Jackie... He's got this nullify queued up, so... No radiance, unfortunately. They're gonna nullify, but it's gonna be very annoying for them to be able to deal with this game. Just the dispel, that tiny defensive factor is not gonna have a potential, I guess, a tied Ghost Scepter as well to keep in mind.
It's a lot of respect being given to Q, the fact that you're essentially building an item for, yes, you can use it on multiple heroes, but I think he's the main target of it.
And here we go. Roshan's up. Viper scouts it out with roll forward. Zephyr trying to find the opening, but now he could be in trouble. Doesn't get the perfect initiation. He actually finds the backline, which is the Invoker. With that protection of the BKB, doesn't really have to worry. And Radiant, all their heroes aren't here at the moment. They chuck out the Cataclysm, but the damage is in there and now died. They want to continue for more with double Viper strike. Invoker just tanking up all the damage. Unfortunately, that protection, the false promise isn't enough. And now Jackie comes out of nowhere. Swift Slash cuts him down. They get the Tiny on top of the high ground as well. So it's going to be a 3-for-1. As now they can fall back, claim the Roshan, which is going to be the second Rosh of the game here. So they get the Aegis, Cheese. Terrorblade's doing a decent job at trying to kind of give them some opportunity to get something out of the map with that tier 1 falling, but it's trouble looking for Motivate.
Right now, he just wants stats. Like, he's already gone the Skadi, he's picked up the Reaver now, so a lot more durable to a lot of these engagements that are happening from T1. You can just see Zephyr, he's happy to throw his body in. He knows he's got the rest of his team backing him up, but is it going to be enough? Maybe might choose to move from the Imp Claw to something else when these next items pop up, but that's 5 minutes from now. And I'm sure that T1 are going to be looking to push their advantage with the Aegis before that happens. Maybe wait for the level 25 on Jackie, but other than that, can't think of anything that they'll be doing that's too passive. They've hit their timings.
Is this a game where you think Motivated are going to be able to defend the high ground with the kind of the big team fight combo they have with the Tide and the Invoker, and just trying to defend and put Terrorblade with that Metamorphosis? Can they hold the high ground, or is this a game where you've got Aegis, Jackie just slow siege, and unfortunately they don't have the lineup to deal with it?
I mean, Oracle does basically nothing for a high ground defense. TB, he's okay at it, and Tide Hunter's got one combination right now with the item build that he's opted to go. So, I don't know. It's going to be a bit tough for them, and they're going to be assisted by the repair kit, but at the end of the day, it's rough, especially now that the Jug has just hit his level 25.
Yeah, and you see how Dire kind of positioning up. I mean, they're just going to be able to get set up on this high ground push. Jackie can frontline. Supports in the back, making sure there's no wraparound, and being able to find a multi-hero. Rabbits are going to go forward though with the Cataclysm. Mags falling incredibly low. Carl pops the BKB. They're going to try and turn on Nevermind now with the backline as well. Terrorblade pops that Metamorphosis, is going to be able to bring down the Earth Spirit. Can they reset the fight though? As Cuckoo force slaps outside the base. Q's still on top of him though, but meanwhile Jackie's just going to work. However, the Terrorblade still has his Sunder to be able to utilize, and they've already gone through the first life. Jackie pops the Blade Fury. Where's the fault control? At least they've got the Skadi slow, and he could be in trouble. He's going to try and deal with Nevermind. He gets rid of the Ghost Scepter, but still, this Terrorblade damage is through the roof. Pops out that Swift Slash, but it's not going to do anything. As Savage tanks it up thanks to the creeps and the illusions as they hold the high ground. Nicely done from Motivate.
I'm just going to call that a caster's curse. I'm surprised. Like they had everything at their disposal on T1. I think the big thing was the Magnus. He got the cheese off, but before the RP was able to come out, they were able to burst him down. So nicely done by Motivate to try and lock him down. I think it was full combination coming through. He was down to about 25% with the Ravage counter combo, and then back up to around, I don't know, 60% with the cheese. But yeah, just able to be burst down beyond that with the Tiny. So good combinations together, good high ground defense, and let's see what they're able to get out of it.
Is that just him getting punished from grouping up with the Jug there? Did you just have the Jug solo sieging and Mag trying to counter initiate? Is that just positioning, or do you not really care about the Mag there?
I mean, honestly, you can just opt to let the Juggernaut solo siege that, right? Like, worst case, you just pop your Blade Fury and run away. You've gone for the extra movement speed talent so that you can do that, but what I'm interested in is what Terrorblade has queued up next.
Ooh, Aghanim's, alright. See
Trying to
how...
push him away.
It's, we don't really... We saw this item get picked up a little bit through Southeast Asia a while ago, actually. They put a decent amount of emphasis on it. But then I haven't really seen it for a while. How do you feel about the Ags?
I think it's a really good item when you've got the heroes to combine it with. And the big hero that I think in that scenario was Puck. But there ain't no Puck. So I'm just struggling to think what they're trying to do with it here. Is it just trying to create a little bit more space, allow the Tiny to get his second lot of spells off? Maybe that's the case.
See how it's going to end up faring eventually. But Q's kind of setting up mid. So Cuckoo, he's got Whitemon on top of the backline, but now with the Cataclysm, Cuckoo gets some distance with the Force Staff. Now he's going to try and look to turn into a Scepter. Gets rid of the roll, but they've got the Nullifier to bring him down. Jackie just so much damage with that Swift Slash, and now it looks like Radiant, they need a retreat. They do have a higher ground ward, although it looks like now they're completely out there. Nevermind's actually going to TP out, so they leave Savage alone. You've got to completely run back as a team here, as they're not going to do so. Boombell gets the ultimate, he's going to try and pop the fear, but it doesn't matter with the Magic Community. Up, he's going to get dropped as well, but where's the heals coming through? As Savage, he's in trouble. The Ravage going to get him a little bit of space here. The damage is shining, but it's not enough. As Savage will fall, and Jackie, he can go to work. They get the Orc on top of the backline. He'll end up dropping as well. So it's a 1 for 2. Can they continue forward, however? Q's going to try and find the counter initiation. He's got the blink up in a couple of seconds. Die. Can they retreat? Carl's still got a little bit of health to work with as well, but with the dust coming through, he's going to have to blink back, so Whitemon's in trouble. Actually, Q's able to find him as well. Toss straight on top of Cuckoo. Orc a little bit too late. That Skewer's going to provide the distance here. It looks like they want Cuckoo instead. So much damage coming through. And that's actually 4 down from T1.
Yeah, their tower taking potential, not amazing without Savage, but the fact that they were able to clean up the rest of the team is amazing, you know? With 4 heroes that aren't known for their high damage potential, I have to give huge props to Savage there. I'm pretty sure that was a Manta dodge on the RP that he was able to get through that allowed them to burst down Jackie, because that fight is completely different if the Juggernaut lives.
Carl, they're going to try and buy back and at least defend the high ground here. Get the kill on top of one. That is a buyback on your Juggernaut though, so you need a little bit more out of it as Fearless is protected with the BKB, but the crits. Jackie brings him down. So they hold the high ground. I mean, you lose your tier 3. The issue is you buy back on the Juggernaut, and Roshan isn't out for a while, so there is a big win condition now in Radiant. You know, they need to try and get the lane shoved out. Nevermind should be able to deal with top. So can T1 actually get anything out of this?
They could. Mag's making a beeline for it. Q just doing his best to get rid of that creep wave. He does. He's going to TP straight back.
Oh, never mind. He's in a whole world of hurt as Jackie's going to find him as well. He's got a buyback. Doesn't get the full wave, unfortunately, and they've already got mid shoved in regardless. So Radiant, they do have repair kit, right? Yeah, they do. So Tiny's got 3 charges available at the moment. Kyle just does so much damage though, even if the Jug's not there.
Radiant's top barracks has
He's just
fallen.
chunking it down.
Radiant's top barracks are under
And
attack.
realistically, you don't want to use this
Radiant's
buyback on
top
the
barracks has
Tidehunter.
fallen.
He's still got 30 seconds until the Ravage, so I think that
Radiant's
might be
middle
what he's
tower
waiting
is
for.
under attack.
Yeah, they might just have to give up a second set of racks here. They'll pop the glyph. Q's going to try and toss back the mag, maybe force a BKB. Try and waste down a little bit of that health pool as well, as Carl isn't going to use either of them. So holds the skewer and this BKB, but he's got to be careful now through a follow-up, as you already see, just in case if they try and initiate at the end stage of that Rax getting claimed with the Inkswell. But now it's 2 full sets of Rax advantage here for T1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? They made aggressive movements, but they were trying to push onto a high ground without their high ground pusher on Motivate's side. You know, just these tiny little decisions that can snowball into something much greater. They're going to check the Roshan, but it's not up for the next 40 seconds. Luckily enough for Motivate. Oh, Illusionist Cape, though, on the TB.
That's quite the item, to say the least, for Savage Heals. We saw the Jug got the level as well, so that's even going to feel pretty nice for him, but just a couple of some decent neutral items getting picked up at the moment from either team.
Havoc Hammer, nice for the Tide.
Continues to become beefy bland. Got 18 strength, a little bit from it.
Watermelon. We've got 5 seconds till Roche. Cuckoo's courier is waiting. We've got a smoke coming from both teams. See Doto.
Was that? It might have been underneath the Radiant Orbs, actually. Q's going to try and
They found
scout
him.
this with the ward on the high ground. If they can bring down the Grimstroke, but he's got an Aeontis to protect him now with the RP as well. Cole, he's going to be able to find 2. And now with the Ravage, it's already been used and it doesn't do anything as Motivate. They just get shredded under the combo. Zephyr pops the BKB at the end, but regardless, I mean, they got what they came for. 2 heroes, and they want a little bit extra blood as well. As Zephyr's hunting. See if he can find Boombell. TP's under the cover of the fog, but they're in trouble without the buybacks.
It was a celebratory BKB, you know. He's allowed to do it. But yeah, just that Ravage being popped a little bit too early in the fight. You know, it's a slow traveling spell, so pretty easy for Carl to respond with a BKB, and then suddenly it's all for nothing. Oh, look at it. This is ridiculous damage.
Yeah, this is and Dire just throughout these fights, you see if it doesn't look like Radiant can stay alive long enough to get some of the abilities off with the. You keep finding a couple hero RPs like that. It's down bot. Carl, he's got the Bizzle Blade as well. It's just going to skewer back Q. And that Nullifier, we've really seen Jackie get rid of the defensive factor of, you know, the Yules, the Force on the Tiny, and then that Ghost Scepter as well from the Tide as well.
Man, Tiny's pretty leveled, huh? He's nearly 25, ahead of Fearless.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering why his death timer was so long. Yeah, he did buy back previously, but it's been, what, 5 minutes or so since he did? So...
Yeah, he's actually... I mean, he's got, what, 4, 8, and 17, 104 lasted, so... I guess his highest lasted out of the supports, but level 24 already. You wouldn't really expect, but Roshan's up. 3rd Rosh of the game. We've got the Aghanims available here for Dire. Looks like Radiant, unfortunately, just going to try and have to deal with the waves, as Dire have got a incredible setup of the vision around the triangle pit.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
I want to know who's taken this, this Ags. Could it even be the Grim? It is, yeah. He's going to Dark Portrait the TB.
Well, that could be trouble. Could do a decent amount of damage. I mean, I think Jug just... Yeah, he just got the Ag's Blessing, so he's got his own Mag. Aghanims, interesting. One for the Mag there. The T1, they've got a massive advantage now with this 16,000 net worth lead. Terrorblade is still doing very well in farm. And you see even Savage has got the Rapier queued up, so he's going for this kind of last resort item on the Terrorblade. We'll see how he's going to fare. The thing is, if you can get the false promise off on Savage, he is staying alive for a very long duration because of that, and he's going to be able to dish out an immense amount of damage as well, so you've got to be careful on how heavy you commit to try and deal with him.
Yeah, there's no Skadi or Spirit Vessel or Shivas on T1 just yet, so none of that minus healing is going to come into the equation. But there we go, Rapier's coming through. Got to be careful with that pathing on it though.
Tower has fallen.
So you don't lose it. There we go.
I think they saw it. They have the area so heavily warded that it'd be silly not to.
Whitemon trying to de-ward with the toss back. He could be in trouble. Dire a little bit too far away. He's got the Aeon Disc for stuff as well. Here come Dire. They drop the healing ward as well, but now Tiny, has he overstepped the mark? Utilize that force stuff defensively. Carl's hunting underneath the sentry, so not going to be able to follow up here. Radiant, they are outside the base at the moment. See Carl really antsy trying to find the initiation. Once again, they're going to try and attempt this with the toss back. They get the Hex instantly now with the Orchid as well. Carl has to pop the BKB. The cheese in the backpack. He just gets it in time. Sunstrike though, they might tank it up. It's off the mark, and now never mind with the Ravage as well. Just clips onto one. Carl's able to try and blink away, and they've committed incredibly far here. Can they continue forward? However, got to keep in mind Savage. He's got this Rapier, but if Dire just disengage, that is perfect for them. Ravage down, meta used. They're actually going to go back. Savage could be in trouble here. He's got to be careful. They seize that Dark Portrait, so it looks like he's going to be able to retreat away. Do they hold the high ground though, where Savage is set up with the ward? Oof.
Yeah, this is rough. They're in a really tough place right now. You can see the next item queued up is that Refresher Orb, but I think T1 are going to want to press the matter before that's going to come into the equation. Jackie, he's still got that Aegis, so he's able to be sitting on the front lines. The thing that they're going to be a little concerned about is the fact that no more cheese, no BKB on Zephyr. He's been the playmaker for him all throughout.
See how they're able to open up. They still got Aegis for another 2 minutes here pretty much from T1, so can they bring down Jackie? like that last high ground defense and then do it the secondary time afterwards. Unfortunately, they don't have the meta to be able to play around with, so it's going to be a lot more difficult. Try and toss him back. Jackie gets rid of the Orchid. Very far away from the team. He's got the Lotus Orb. It looks like Carl's trying to hunt as well, but at least Terrorblade making it very difficult to be able to find that blink initiation. Top of the cliff early. Carl's going to go forward now with the blink on top of the Abyssal Blade. Terrorblade's going to get 2 out top of the base here, but now with the Cataclysm doesn't do anything. They need to try and keep Savage alive, though. He's going to try and turn. Pops the Satanic with the life steal, but the RP's going to fly through. Where's the False Promise? Is it going to be there in time? However, Terrorblade gets the Protector just in time, but it's not going to matter with the double toss. It's sending him away from doing any of the damage here. Now Savage could be in trouble. This Rapier on the decks. They deal with the Aegis, but he doesn't have a buyback. Mag's going to be able to steal it, and it looks like they're back in, straight on top of the Tide Hunter. That's going to be 2 down from Motivate, and that just might be the series as well. They're tied. Gonna try and buy back. Tornado messes around with the toss. This will able to get the combo. Now you gotta be careful though, because John, he doesn't have this second life. The Orchid is doing a lot of work. Once again, the toss back. Q, nicely done. But Jackie inside the base pops that Swift Slash, finds one. That's a dieback for the Tide.
Oh, Q's doing so much.
Oh god, look at the damage. It's just gonna be Megas and the Invoker and the Tiny having to do it all for themselves here. Zephyr buys back along with the Juggernaut, but 3 heroes from Motivate do not have buyback in. How are they going to be able to hold this?
They won't.
Yeah, they will. Easy answer. This looks like it's just going to be the series here as T1 will attempt another toss back, but Abyssal holds a Tiny. Meanwhile, Jackie just goes to work on the Invoker, all down from Motivate, and along with the game and the series. As T1, they open up the group stages with a nice 2-0 victory.
I mean, you have to feel confident with that, right? Like, it was a dominant performance from start to finish. It felt like they had a better understanding of how they wanted to play their game, and they had this mid-Magnet